Alrighty, boys and girls, we are here with a highly requested Heim guide. This is the shut up. This on the bonus patch where Heim was actually nerfed. He got the crystal nerf, which maybe we'll edit the patch in. Maybe we'll see. We'll see if we're that technologically advanced nowadays. But he got his crystal nerf and he got a nerf on his 2 where it takes him. It was like the knock up afterwards, something like that. Nonetheless, we're here. We have Heimdallr, the newest ADC released, and probably one of the most difficult ones to play effectively. He's got a very high skill ceiling, a lot of cool tips and tricks that you can do with him that I will be showcasing in this video, and just many different things that you could do with this god to kind of show off how good you are with him. So we'll start out, we'll do what we usually do in most guides. We do like builds, go over the abilities, whatnot. I'll show you some combos, show you what to do, and then we'll probably do some gameplay in at the end. And that'll be into that. But yeah, this guide's been requested extremely or extremely, I guess. He's been requested a lot, so to speak. So let's hop on into it. We'll start with the abilities, go over each of them, figure out what they do together, move into builds, combos, and whatnot. So yeah, so we're starting off with the passive. The passive is the Vigilant. When Heimdallr gains vision of an enemy god, he gains physical power up to a maximum of 5 gods. When an enemy god would disappear from vision, including stealth, Heimdallr continues to see them for 4 seconds. On top of that, Heimdallr's critical strikes only deal 70% bonus damage instead of the usual 100% extra damage, which is pretty interesting because he still does more damage with crits, given that his passive actually reduces critical strike damage. That's not... I don't know if Hyra's intended it to be this way, but it's just something like a little troll thing that Heimdallr does more damage with crits than regular hunters do, given that he does less damage with actual critical attacks. So, what does his passive really mean? Every time he sees a god, he gets power. 2% power per god means you can get 10% power in a team fight if you see all 5 gods, or you just get extra power when you or your teammates see gods on the map. This applies for the solo lane 1v1, the mid 1v1. If the junglers find each other in the jungle, it does not have to be Heimdallr seeing him. It's not like he has to be staring at this Odin bot to see him. As long as the god is on the map and a teammate has vision of the enemy god, he will get the power. And it also means that he keeps vision on the person after they disappear. So if they walk into the jungle or something, Heimdallr gets to see them for the next 4 seconds. You kind of ping him out on the map and whatnot. Oh, he's still here, he's still here. Yada yada yada. So very, very cool passive. Does a lot for the god and is a big part of his kit actually. So yeah, moving on to his 1, Piercing Sight. This is a circle ability. He basically throws it up in the air. I'll put my abilities on normal cast so you can see how they look. Basically what he does is he will have this little radius, not radiance, where he throws up his sword. The sword gives vision into the big circle, right? So if you see where my mouse is here, it's around this edge. This is the radius vision, or radius for vision. Jesus. And yeah, pretty much this is just his clearing ability. He's throw this up, and you get this little mini circle. This can be controlled closer to you, away from you, and basically when you click again, it goes down, dealing a bunch of damage. This is very useful, this ability. That it obviously gives you vision, like I said, so you can throw it out to the jungle or something behind you when you're going to clear wave just to see if you're getting ganked, and then you can, you know, auto stack up the wave, and then boom, throw the one on top, and it'll probably hit all 6 creeps if you do it correctly. In general, this team fight, or this ability, is great in team fights because, like I said, when you're starting team fights, you can get your 1-up and you'll be able to see all these characters over the wall. If you're gonna back off, you can throw your 1 behind you, right? See if they're still chasing. You can, say if we're running this way, I could throw my 1-up this way, continue to run away, do some 180s while I'm running away and see who's behind me. If I'm in the jungle or whatever, obviously you could just keep using it effectively for vision. I think you guys get the point. The 1 gives him vision and is his main clear. I'll demonstrate it on some lane minions. So when you're clearing, you want to throw your 1-up not too far away. Auto down, auto, you know, get some autos in. And you want to try and put your 1 right in the middle here, hit all 6 creeps. Very nice. So yeah, use the 1 for vision and for wave clear. It's a pretty cool ability. There's some combos with it as well. Moving on to his 2. Let me set my level to 20. Another very interesting part of his kit. Has a lot of different things you could do with this. It is the Heimdallr horn. The Heimdallr horn. All right. This is a circle followed by a cone. The cone is casted for, I think it's like 2 seconds. Yeah, 2 seconds. And then if anybody's in this first circle, they would get knocked up. Just the cone itself, it does tick damage and slows. This ability used to be super insane. It would reduce prots and whatnot. It's been through quite a few nerfs, so yeah. I mean, it's not as good as it was, but it's still a very strong ability. So what you want to do, you can 2, it'll start slowing, and then you want to try and get in range to get into the inner circle. And what I'll do is you will knock the enemy up, right? Keep in mind this ability can be cancelled, so you can start it and instantly cancel it for the quick knock up, or you can do the whole thing. The circle itself does work behind, so whatever way, or like if the person is behind you, you will knock him backwards. If he's in front of you, you'll knock him forwards. I believe the same thing applies sideways. You will knock him sideways. Yeah. So very strong ability, good for poke. Once you level it up a few times, the damage does start to tick up and add up. And yeah, the next ability, this is the most important ability in Heimdallr's kit, in my opinion. It's the ability that is the hardest to use for many people, and it's just the kind of the bread and butter of this character. What makes him unique, what makes him interesting, what makes him fun to play. So Heimdallr has 2 crystals. They're called, I guess they're both called the Bifrost. The orange crystal we see right here is the first crystal that I placed. As you can see, I have an orange border. And this blue crystal is the second crystal that I placed. So how do these crystals actually work? You can only have 2 crystals up at any given moment in the game, no matter where they are. When you choose to place your third crystal, you will be replacing the first crystal that you placed out of the 2. It's easy to color coordinate if you're a normal cast. When you have an orange border, that means it will be taking away the last orange portal that you placed. When you have a blue border, it'll be taking the blue portal away, right? So if you're here, if that's an old portal, this blue one is an old portal, and I want to get to this orange portal, I can place a blue portal on top of myself and TP over. The crystal itself does have an internal cooldown from when you actually TP from one crystal to the next. The base cooldown when you're in a short distance, I believe, is always 14 seconds. Yeah, 14 seconds, and this scales all the way up to 210 seconds depending on how far you actually take the crystal. Theoretically, these crystals can take you from base to base. I can place 1 crystal in this part of the base, 1 crystal in the enemy base, and I can TP. The only thing that changes is the time that it takes for you to actually travel from crystal to crystal. Not the actual distance, but the actual time that it will take you to... Oh, this is kind of an annoying, isn't it? Annoyance for me, because I actually keep the internal cooldown. But anyways, you get the point. The further apart the crystals are, the longer you have to stay inside of the actual crystal to get from crystal A to crystal B. What's pretty cool about these crystals is that you can summon other crystals while starting your TP to change the direction that you're going. You can make quite a few really nice plays with these crystals. They're really sick escapes because obviously you can place them as far as you do so please. And you can place them more, technically, you can be more like, you know, sneaky within, things like that. You can put a crystal down on yourself. Or you can put a crystal down here. Let's just say there's an enemy behind this wall. You can place a crystal, and then when they come up, you can place a crystal here, TP over, start your combo. This is the part of the kit, like I said, that is pretty hard to learn. It'll take you quite a few hours on Heim to really perfect them. But once you get these down, the god feels so nice to use. It becomes a lot more fluid to play the character. It just becomes more fun, in my opinion, right? You start to understand how to use him, you start to do well with him, and so on and so forth. There's another thing that these crystals are extremely useful for that is not TPing. It is canceling an auto chain. If we go to autos or Heim's basic attack progression, he has a 1.25, 1.2 followed by a 1.5 damage auto progression. And it takes him 1.3 seconds, 1.3 seconds, and 1.5 seconds to actually swing and shoot the autos out. But what this means is that the third swing essentially takes longer to shoot out. You can see it visually, and on top of that, you can just feel it. So what you'll see a lot of Heim players do is they will throw out their first 2 autos and then instantly put a crystal down to cancel and restart the auto attack chain. It's also known as an auto attack cancel. I think I've been over this in the past video, but Very useful things that you could do with these. I'm going to change this back to normal or instant cast just for fluidity's sake. If you auto, you could drop a crystal and you can see we go straight back to AoE autos. This can be done as many times as you want. All you have to do is keep in mind that you are indeed resetting your crystal position. So when you're auto canceling, if you had a crystal very far, or you know, somewhere in the jungle that you had where like, oh, if a jungler ganks me, I could just TP out, that crystal will probably be deleted. But I do recommend doing the auto canceling little thing, because it, first of all, it allows you to keep cleave autoing, so you have better wave clear, and it's just I think it's more effective and fast-paced damage than using your third auto attack. When it comes to late game, it could potentially not be worth. You can do that huge swing, but early game, I do indeed recommend auto canceling to stack up creeps and whatnot. This also ties into using the 1 for clear. I'll show you on this mini wave again. If you have your 1 up as you're coming up towards the wave, if you auto 3, auto, you see the creep stack up, and then we smack you with the 1. This is a very nice way to clear the wave. But like I said, do keep in mind that you are replacing or messing up your prior crystal placement, whether it's intentional or not. We'll go more into depth with the crystals. I just want to go over his base kit. Lastly, we have Through the Realms. This is what I call Niflheim. It's actually called Niflheim, where Heimdallr takes an enemy out of combat, sends them through the realms all the way over to Niflheim. They take a series of damages. They get slowed, yada yada yada. Essentially, all it is it's this line ability. It's essentially like a dash, right? And if you do connect with anybody along the way, they will be sent away. There is a way to figure out where they're going to go. If you ult somebody and look that way, they'll be sent forwards. Whereas if you whip your camera around, backwards, left, right, they will be sent that way. I'll demonstrate right now. So you saw that Odinbot go forwards. If I'm looking at this guy and I ult him, but I turn around, you can see he does indeed go behind me. This circle is where they're going to land. So you can, I usually ping my teammates if they don't see, maybe there's something on the floor. And yeah, a really easy ability to set up different things, like maybe CC on the bottom, big burst damage, go for solo kills. It's a very cool ability. It's very effective versus diving solo laners, diving junglers. You know, somebody hits you, auto attack them, throw them away, maybe tell your team, look, he's coming down, or it's just a good way to peel for yourself. You know, you could shoot somebody away and then TP out. Many different things that could be done with the ability. As for his kit, that is pretty much it. Oh, okay, bars. It's pretty nice kit. It's a very unique kit, not a kit that any hunter's ever seen before. A lot of different things. Obviously, the ultimate, the 3, the vision. It's a lot of new stuff. And it's very cool. Before we get into combos, I do want to go over some builds with him. Combos I'll show you later while we're playing against gods or whatnot. There is a lot of very cool things you can do with this character, so yeah. What are the builds for this god? Well, as we went over previously, although critical strike damage is reduced from his passive, you still do more damage with your crits than ADCs do without the passive, right? So essentially what that means is a Heimdallr autoing with crits will do more damage than a Rama, Guyi, on her, so on and so forth with his critical hits, even though he does less damage with the actual crits. Which means the opportunity for us to go Devos into a crit build is still there. And it actually is something that I've done plenty of times in the Pro League and Ranked, and in, you know, just many different scenarios. Although, I think that build is extremely strong, and I do stand by people building crit on most ADCs. I think that the other build is also extremely strong, because as you could tell, physical power per stack is a percentage. You get percent power, meaning the more power that you have, the more you actually will get from his kit. And what that means is that builds that have Transcendence and Heartseeker in them, and just high power items, are obviously just going to scale better with this kit. So, if you were to go the Transcendence build that I go, or that a lot of people go, this one, where you go Aussie Kens, sell the Hunter's Blessing for Timesbane, you have a shit ton of power, right? And then when you start to see more people, the, what's it called, the power from the passive is affects you more so, I guess is the correct term. You just get extra power because you have higher base power. That's all. This is a build that obviously feels extremely good on him. High power, A lot of attack speed, a lot of pen. This build will not apply for the new builds. Obviously, there's a mid-season patch coming out in the next couple days, and I will be doing an in-depth guide to all the items there and a new tier list of hunters and all the potential new builds. So keep in mind that this is a this patch build, not a next patch build. I'm not quite sure what people are going to be building next patch, and I'm going to do some testing when I can. But as for the next, now, if you're playing Heim in the next 5 days, this is a build you can build and feel extremely comfortable with and good with. After we stack our items, we go up to 260 power with the passive fully stacked up. Means you'd be right over about 200 without the passive. This is it's just a good build. Does a lot of damage. You have insane mana sustain. You get the CDR from the Transcendence, meaning you have your 1, 2, and 4 more often. And it's just nice. It does a lot of damage. If you want to go the Maces route, you would obviously skip the Hunter's Blessing. And this is the only time I really choose to go Maces on Heimdallr is, oh, you know, they have a lot of healing. They might have a Ra, a Terra, a Yemoja, maybe, an Urlong. You know, plenty of gods that have a lot of built-in sustain or whatnot. I might go this route. It's obviously a lot more power, so you're going to be doing a lot more damage. And it also just affects your passive a lot more. You get a lot more use out of the passive. This build is also extremely strong. You get a shit ton of power. Your autos hit like absolute semi-trucks. And you got a lot of utility between the Brawlers. The Hard Seeker does a shit ton of damage. The Crusher does tick damage so people can't blink. So on and so forth. This build also extremely strong. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. That's pretty much it for the builds. Those are the 3 main builds that I would ever go on Heim. If you didn't know the Devil's build, I could show it because I actually didn't showcase it. I only talked about it. The Devourer's build that most hunters do, as you will see. We get into order for you as well. It would be Rage, XC into Wind Demon. And then usually, if they have a tanky comp and you're the Crypt build, you want to go Titan Span early. And if they don't have a very tanky comp, you can go the Poison Sun, so the boots are Titan Span. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter, but you just have to be, you know, you just have to be keen. Keep an eye out for what they're building, what their gods are, who's ahead, who's behind. If you're massive, Titan Span can be great, so can Poison Star. You just got to keep an eye out for what's really going on. This build also has a good bit of power, a lot of utility, 215 power. Not that little, given the passive is completely stacked. The auto attacks absolutely slam with this build. And the attack speed as well, so the what's it called? You can really make use of his auto attacks because you have such a high attack speed. Once you sell the boots, you have a little bit less, but it's not a big deal. Purple buff and maybe like a Shogun's or something will help you out a good bit. So these are the builds that I would build. One of those 3 builds on Heim. I go crit into squishy comps or hard dive comps that are not running at me, like a triple warrior comp I would not go crit into. But if they have like Mercuries like that and gods like of that nature that are super squishy but want to dive really hard, I will go a crit build. Otherwise, I do recommend going the Trans Oxy build. That build feels really strong. And if they do have a lot of healing, or for some reason you just want to do 500 million extra damage with the ultimate, then go ahead and build the Maces build. All builds work extremely well. What is next? I think we're pretty much done with builds and abilities. We talked about his progressions. I want to talk about a couple different things before we move on to combos. Just the fluidity of his kit. Learning the auto attack chains or cancel will feel really good, so I recommend learning that as early as possible. It is actually a very simple thing to do. You don't even have to let go of your left click, assuming you're on instant cast. You can literally hold left click and just click 3 after the second auto. So it's auto 3, auto 3, auto 3, so on and so forth. You can do this infinitely. Obviously my CDR is reduced in this jungle practice, not up that often, but yeah. On top of that, there is a lot of other abilities in this kit that can be used immediately after an auto. So you can, let me change this back to instant cast for showcasing the kit. I don't really use normal cast, but you can use a lot of your abilities in sync right away and sneak an extra auto in there too. So for instance, you see me using a lot of my abilities, or you see me using a lot of autos and immediately using my abilities after. Essentially, this just reduces the time to kill by a tremendous amount. So when you're auto attacking somebody down, you can instantly cancel the 2 into an auto 3, auto, you know, different combos that you can do. But I do recommend getting used to using the abilities to auto cancel. The god will feel a lot better to play. Things like things like that, you know, big combos like that. It's a lot of burst damage that people don't expect. You can auto one. Yeah, there's just a lot of damage can be dealt if you use the kit effectively and to its max potential. As for the crystals, I'm not sure if there's an easy way to really show this off. I guess I can just do short distance crystals because the cooldown doesn't get reduced by the reduced cooldown in jungle practice. So yeah, let's go over the crystal placement and how you should be using this crystal, where you should be placing them, what should you be doing with them, things like that. So if you watch my stream or watch the SPL or even my YouTube videos, I play this god fairly aggressively. I do think his kit is a aggressive kit, and if you use it well, there's a lot of solo kill potential. Granted, there's also a lot of getting soloed potential if you're using the kit too greedily, or if you're not paying attention to your health or maybe actives and whatnot. There's a high chance for the enemy ADC to kill you if you're not paying attention or being careful. So let's start off with the most basic crystal placement. If you are in a fight, you want to have a crystal behind you at all times. This is just a good thing to have because when a jungler is going to be diving you, you can plop a crystal down right next to you, take it, and TP on out. Typically, you want to put these like over a wall or behind a camp or something, just somewhere not in plain sight so you can't just get jumped on right afterwards. But yeah, this is pretty much very basic crystal placement, just nice and close. The TP is nice and quick, and if you get dead, you can just kind of get on in there and dip on out. You see me use this a lot when we're next to like fire giants or gold furies. I'll put a fire giant, or I'll put a crystal behind the fire giant wall, or maybe by my back camps, and then I'll put a crystal by maybe gold fury pit or by my purple buff and whatnot. Just a crystal close enough to get out, but not too far so I don't die in the actual TPing process. This is a very basic defensive crystal setup. I think this is one of the easier crystals to learn. Essentially, if you're going to fight at an objective, throw a crystal behind you and make sure it's not too far so it doesn't take you 10 seconds to TP, and that's it. As for aggressive crystals, you have two different ways to play with aggressive crystals. If you aren't sure whether you want to get aggressive or not, you can put a crystal down next to you. That way you still have your far crystal, right, set up. So if you do get ganked, you can tape on out. Or if you know that you want to get aggressive, for instance, like I know where everybody is on the map, I want to look for a solo kill. What you'll see me doing is while I'm implementing these auto attack cancels, I'm going to hold my camera out far and I'm going to place a crystal by the actual enemy as I'm auto attacking. It'll still cancel the auto attack chain and go into the next auto attack chain, aka auto cancel like I said before. But now what this allows us to do is to set up an aggressive crystal. This means that the person that is in this vicinity needs to keep in mind that I can TP to this crystal in any due time that I want to. So if they're a hunter that needs to stand in the middle of the wave, they got to be like, damn, there's a crystal there. He can now TP on me and make a play. What this allows you to do is if you're auto attacking, you put the crystal there, you can auto attack going here, and now you're here, right? A very nice little trick that you can do. I don't see too many people doing it. It's not a very hard thing. People might just not understand how it works. So this is the second variant of getting an aggressive crystal up. The third thing that you can do is if you're auto attacking, right, you could place this crystal down next to you, right, and while you are TPing into this one, right, so let's say we want to get onto this Odin bot, while you're TPing, you'd place the crystal and TP forwards rather than to the crystal behind you. So for instance, if you have 3 crystals, right, if you were to have 3 crystals up and the first crystal you place is going to be deleted. Sorry, this might be like a mouthful. I'm going to do my best to explain it, but if you have 2 crystals up, right, and this crystal is behind you and you step into it seeming like, oh, I'm gonna go back, and then the last second you TP and you place the crystal forward, it's a very, very easy way to catch somebody off guard. I do it quite often, so I'll be like auto attack in. If this guy disrespects me or something, I will TP in to where his current position is. But if he takes too much damage, right, if he's like, oh my god, I didn't expect that burst damage, what this also allows you to do is to walk forward, TP in, place another crystal, and now you have even more chase down potential. These crystals take time to learn. The crystal placement that I've just demonstrated does take some time to learn. You do have to know when you can kill somebody, when you are in danger after using the crystals, where people are on the map, because these crystals are at times ticket out of team fights, but they can also be as ticket into getting solo kills and into team fights as well. So do be careful when you are trying to get aggressive, because On the off chance that I have a crystal here and a crystal here and a jungler comes from the jungle, this crystal isn't going to do much for me. Maybe I can cut around and then place one here, then TP out, but it's unlikely, right? So just keep that in mind. Those are probably the only 3 aggressive crystal placements that you could learn while trying to learn this god. The other scenarios will come naturally, like, you know, setting up there's like scenarios where I went over this with before, but if you're playing in a tower line or something, if you're looking for a purple buff, you could place a crystal where the guy would be coming from, hide over the wall, and then TP in, right? Maybe he doesn't know, because obviously if you're coming from here, you're like, oh, this guy's a crystal here, maybe, you know, it's just here. You don't see the second portion, then you could TP on in, get a nice little sneaky play. What else is there? There is what I showed over here. It is a thing you can do as well. Say you get ganked, you could drop a crystal, try to kite towards the base or towards the jungle, and then when you have the opportunity, place a crystal and then TP on out. Keep in mind that the further you TP, the longer your crystal does go on cooldown, so you don't want to be TPing too far, because it's essentially like, would you on her jump an extra distance, but could it put it on a longer cooldown? I don't think I would, and I don't think anybody really should. So do keep in mind where your crystals are, how far apart they are, because the last thing you want is to have a Heim with a crystal on a 210-second cooldown. This will also bring me to my next point. Do not, and I repeat, do not take your TP from lane or from base to lane. This is an extremely bad thing to do. I don't even want to do it right now because it would kind of ruin the next portion of this video that I want to show you. But this TP, not only does it take you so long to do, but it puts your crystal on such a long cooldown. And that is not what you want, right? Like I said, the best way that it was explained to me when I was first learning this god is, if you had the opportunity to Uller jump from base to lane, but put it on a 5-minute cooldown or 4-minute cooldown, whatever the cooldown is, would you ever do it? And I don't think anybody would. So yeah. Another short thing or small thing before I go into the combos with the crystals is this line gives you vision. Anybody who crosses between this line from crystal to crystal will be seen on the map. So you could try to keep that in mind when you're setting up crystals, maybe early game. If you have for instance, if you have a crystal by their purple buff and by your jungle, you will see the person coming to gank you. This is also what makes Heim an extremely hard gank. He has so much escape ability, so much turnaround, so much damage, and he's just a very hard god to lock down. So yeah, the little lines, obviously you see these 3 Odin bots because they're in between the crystals. Let's go into the next part of this. I'll do the little combination or show off some of the combos that you could do. So while you were TPing through these crystals, you can still auto attack, you can still use abilities, you can cast. The best combo that I've personally done with this character / seen people do is that while you're TPing, you can actually cast your 2 and TP through. And as you can see, it continues your 2 cast through the next crystal. So if you are getting aggressive, right, if you have a deep crystal set up and this guy's staying inside of your crystal range, what you can do is you could put a crystal down by yourself, 2 in, and then boom, you're still channeling your 2, you TP out, you get a nice little knockup, maybe into an auto, into an ult, and whatnot. But it is a very, very cool combo that you can perfect and learn how to do. Something very, very nice. It's something that's very unique to this character. Not many people can just TP in and instant knock you up into a full combo and one-shot you. And I do recommend it being something that you do try to learn sooner rather than later when playing this god. You'll just feel so much better. Other things you could do, there's this part. If you're trying to get your 1 on an enemy, which I do recommend, trying to get your 1 to poke. If you 1 and then cast your 2 while you're 1ing, not only will the 2, well, it used to reduce prots. Not only does it slow down and reduces prots, now it just slows them, but it'll basically just help you guarantee the 1 on your enemy. So when your 1's in the air, say you want to hit this Odin 1, if you cast your 1 and then 2 at the same time, the likelihood of you hitting that 1 just increased by a little bit. On top of that, it is a good bit of poke. When this 2 gets maxed up, the ticks, I believe, are like 40-ish per tick with power involved. So you're ticking for like anywhere from like 40 to like 60, 70, depending on what build you have. So if you're slapping somebody with like a 300 damage 1 plus, you know, maybe 150 extra damage from the 2, it's not poke that you should mess around with. It's kind of like getting hit by like an Uller 3-1 freehand early game or like something along those lines. On top of that, we have the ultimate. Like I said, the ultimate is an easy ability to auto cancel with. Essentially all I'm saying is that while you're about to ult, you can get a couple autos in beforehand, And yeah, the combo that you see a lot of people do, a very simple one, but it's very effective. If you have a TP set up by the Odin bot, right, if you're autoing him, right, you want to start your 2, go into the 2, pop your 2, auto while they're in the air, and ult them afterwards. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It's a pretty simple thing. Essentially, all you do is you 2, auto while they're knocked up, and then ult them after. Pretty simple. Yeah, I think that might really be it for the combos. I might be missing something. Auto 2, cancel the 2 for the instantaneous knock up into the auto, off the 2, ultima after that. The 2 is knock up immune, or does make Heim knock up immune. I'm sorry, I should have went over that before. So if you're getting Herctude, Vulcan 3, any ability that is a knock up, you can cast your 2, same thing as like an Odin 3, and you won't be knocked up in this period. So do be careful instant canceling your 2, or just using your 2 out of place and then getting knocked up afterwards. Pretty OP. Like if an honor jumping on you, you could cast your 2 while he lands and you won't be knocked up. Right, or a Hui 3 or whatnot. Yeah, these are pretty much all the combos. I'm not really sure what else there is to even go over. Besides, I could show you some regular combos on like God bots. There's an ETH here. Set up a crystal. At the 2. Auto off the 2, which I didn't even do. This is a 4-second cast, so you want to get your 3rd auto set up on the bottom of it, and then look for the kill. The ult, actual like follow up off the ult, is pretty hard to learn right away if you're new to the character. But I mean, it's not the worst ever, right? A lot of bursts. What I'm saying is, while they're coming down, you want to set up your auto attack to land as soon as they land. Doesn't give them a second of counterplay, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't really know. This guy's been pretty long, but I think I've been over pretty much everything. The builds, the abilities, how to use his crystals. I do have some in-depth crystal guides as well, just on well, not necessarily in-depth, but there are some Heim YouTube videos where I show you how to really use the crystals potentially to their or to their full potential, not potentially, and things like that. Guess I'll show you guys how to clear lane minions again. Like I said, you want to auto 3, and then stack for your 1. Set up 3s in the jungle while you're around, so that if you do get ganked, it's essentially being able to jump over this wall. It's a very nice thing to do. Am I really missing anything? I don't know. I think we went over pretty much everything. In team fights, or sorry, on tower pushes, set up a crystal not too far from the tower. That way, when, like, if you're going to commit to this tower, if you have a crystal set up pretty far, you're going to go here, you know, you're going to start smacking this tower down, you can go towards the enemy base, but you're going to have a crystal set up far, and then boom, we're out of there. Yeah, I mean, that honestly might be it. This card's not very difficult. You just gotta learn the 3 placement and how to use it effectively, and I think I went pretty in-depth with the 3s. I'll go over another combo, or the combo once again. Auto, place your crystals. Unfortunately, it's on cooldown because jungle practice stinks. Get used to doing 2 autos. And then get used to also sending an auto down at the bottom. Just some nice combos there that we're showcasing. In terms of actives, I pretty much extensively build beads and Aegis. Sometimes you can go blink if you're really feeling yourself. Obviously, if you do have a blink, it eliminates the crystal aggressive crystalness that you need to do, or crystal work, I guess, placement, because it allows you to straight blink in, you know, auto 2, and then you can actually TP out if you want to. I've seen players like Solo or Troll kind of perfect this method of play through ranked. It's cool to do, but if you're a carry, I recommend getting a defensive active, unless they really don't have much CC or something. Maybe you can go Aegis Blink or Blink Beads or whatnot. You can also go Shell. I've seen people do Shell on carries. I don't think it's that bad, but do keep in mind that Aegis is a pretty clutch relic that can save you in a lot of different spots. Yeah. I think that honestly might be it. This has been a 35-minute video of me babbling on, and I feel like I've only been talking for about 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of been over everything. We went over the build, we went over the abilities, what they do, how to use them well, the auto progression, the fact that crit does actually more damage with its auto attacks, even though it's not meant to. Crystal placement, how to play off the ultimate, where the ultimate lands, how to turn the ultimate. Remember, guys, you can turn your camera, angle him whatever way you want. Do you remember, though, actually, this is a big deal, that this ability will send people over walls. We're not quite sure if you can go over this wall. We can try it in a second, but if you flick your wrist this way, you can actually send somebody over this wall. Sometimes I've been like, dude, where the hell did this guy go? And he actually turns out it's on this side. So let's see if we can do that. If you ult, you can go over this way, and as you can see, there's no circle here, which means you should be here. That's right. Just a quick thing. Like sometimes I've ulted people over purple ball, and I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing here, right? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much Heimdallr in a nutshell. If you do have any more questions that I may have forgotten to go over in this little mini guide or in-depth guide or whatever you want to call it, make sure to comment down below. I'll try to get to as many questions as possible. If it does so happen that I missed something crucial, we'll probably just edit it in. If I'm like, oh dude, I completely forgot to A and B, right? Yeah. So if you did enjoy this Heimdallr guide, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. What god should I do next, guys? I've done Hu Yi bounce guides, I've done Hu Yi guide, I did an Uller guide, I did a bunch of different gods at this point. I want to do more guides. I want to do more hands-on YouTube content, not just take stuff from my Twitch VOD and kind of do that. I will be doing a lot more cool stuff with like the new patch, maybe like some in-depth build guides, new tier list updates, thoughts on different characters, you know, things like that. Maybe just how to build ADC, how to position ADC, and whatnot. So that is going to be it for me. I hope you did enjoy. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you don't know, I do stream on twitch.tv/PandaCat every night, 10 p.m. EST, except for weekends. I do have a Twitter account, so make sure you're following me there to know when I'm going live or doing different things. And I just do some different updates on there and whatnot. Make sure you do have the notification bell clicked to know when I'm uploading the next video. The upload schedule has been kind of altered a little bit. I used to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now we're kind of doing Monday through Sunday, a video a day, just pumping out the content. It might hurt viewer numbers, but all in all, it just makes more videos more accessible to more people all the time. So yeah, let me know down below. Like I said, maybe just let me know everything. What are your thoughts on the YouTube videos? How has this been? It's been a pretty insane journey. We've amassed a total of, I think, about 11,000 subscribers at this point. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and supporting me. Yeah, just let me know your thoughts down below. Who should I do next? How's the YouTube channel? How's the upload schedule? What should I do? Different videos. And yeah, that's it for me. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay amazing, stay beautiful, stay awesome. And as most importantly, stay yourselves. Hope you guys did enjoy. Until the next video, I'm out. Peace.